Welcome to the deep dive. We try to cut through all the noise, especially with AI development. It feels like every single day there's something new hitting the
Is
headlines.
relentless.
Totally. And
Yep.
if you're listening, you've probably played around with some of those AI code tools, right?
Mm.
They're amazing for spitting out boilerplate or maybe translating some Python to JavaScript.
Oh, absolutely. For those quick tasks, they're fantastic.
But then you hit that ceiling.
Yeah.
They struggle with the big picture stuff. Understanding your whole project or figuring out dependencies or actually stringing together multiple steps to solve a real problem, not just suggest a fix.
Exactly. They give you pieces, not the whole puzzle sometimes.
Right. So that's our mission today. We got a stack of sources, and we want to really unpack something that looks genuinely game-changing, something aiming to break past those limits.
And today we're diving deep into Qwen's latest release. It's called Qwen 3-Coder 480B A35B Instruct. Bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue.
And alongside it, there's the Qwen Code tool. And you touched on it. This isn't just another code generator. The sources are really clear. This thing is designed to be an autonomous developer assistant.
Okay. Autonomous?
Yeah, really aiming to redefine what's possible for, large-scale, self-directed developer help, tackling those complex multi-step jobs you were just talking about.
Okay, let's get into it then. We're going to unpack what makes this Qwen 3-Coder apparently stand out, look under the hood at how it works, because there's some interesting architecture there, and really, what does this mean for you if you're involved in software? Learner, seasoned pro, doesn't matter. This could be a big shift. All right, so the headline first. Qwen drops Qwen 3-Coder 480B A35B Instruct. They're calling it their most powerful open agentic code model released to date. That phrase, open agentic, that feels important. What's agentic really mean here? It's more than just writing code.
Oh, definitely. It's a huge leap. Agentic means it can act on its own, interact. So it's not just, prompt code snippet. It's more like it understands a goal, breaks it down, maybe uses external tools like a debugger or even a web browser to find info. It can query your development environment, learn from feedback, refine its plan, all without needing a human to nudge it at every single step.
So it's like having a smart intern, almost.
Kind of, yeah. A very smart one who can read docs, run tests, search online, check things into Git. It manages these complex workflows autonomously. That's what could redefine large-scale developer assistance.
That is a significant step up. So, okay, lots of models are coming out. Everyone's making big claims. What specifically about this Qwen model, based on the sources, makes it genuinely different? Beyond the big numbers, what should people really pay attention to?
Good question. I think it boils down to two main things we're seeing in the materials. It's unique architecture and just the sheer scale it operates at.
Okay.
So architecturally, it uses something called a mixture of experts model, MOE.
MOE, right.
And while the headline number is this massive 480 billion parameter.
Which sounds computationally terrifying.
Exactly. But the key detail for efficiency, and this is crucial, is that only 35 billion of those parameters are actually active during inference, when it's working.
Okay, 35 billion active, still a lot, but much less than 480. So this MOE thing, let's break that down. How does that work?
Well, think of it like having a massive team of specialists, maybe 160 experts on call.
Okay.
One knows Python inside out, another's a database guru, another's C++ up. You get the idea.
Right, specialists.
Now, when you ask a question, instead of all 160 trying to shout an answer.
Chaos.
Right. Only the, say, 8 most relevant experts for that specific problem actually wake up and pool their knowledge.
I see. So you get the benefit of the huge knowledge pool.
Exactly.
But without the massive computational cost of running the whole thing all the time, it's efficient specialization.
Precisely. That's how it hits state-of-the-art performance, but with dramatically less overhead. It enables this huge scale, but makes it actually practical. And digging a bit into the weeds, technically it's got 62 transformer layers that gives it depth for understanding code logic. And it uses something called grouped query attention, GQA.
QA.
Yeah, 96 query heads, 8 key value heads. The point is, GQA is faster and uses less memory than older attention methods, especially with really long inputs.
Like huge code files.
Exactly. It helps the model zero in on the relevant parts of vast amounts of code efficiently. It's optimizing how it processes all that information.
So smart architecture, efficient processing. Let's talk context and scale then. It has a native 256,000 token context window. That sounds huge. What does that mean practically for a developer?
It's genuinely a game changer for understanding. 256K tokens native means can look at really large single files or even small to medium entire code bases all at once.
Wow.
Think about refactoring some messy old module that touches like 20 different files with complex links between them.
Yeah, nightmare scenario for older tools.
Right. They'd see snippets, give disconnected advice. Qwen Coder, potentially, can ingest that entire module, understand how it all fits together, and then suggest a complete, consistent refactoring. Or even rewrite it in a new language, checking consistency everywhere.
That's incredible. And the sources say it can go even bigger.
Absolutely. Using techniques like Yarn for context extrapolation, they claim it can scale up to 1 million tokens.
A million. Seriously?
Yeah, think about that. Enough context to potentially hold an entire medium-sized open source project code, docs, bug history, PR discussions all in its active memory.
Okay, that's staggering.
It makes it suitable for the largest enterprise code bases, huge documentation sets. It really prompts the question, doesn't it? Imagine feeding an AI your entire project, not just files, but the whole architecture. That's transformative for deep analysis, big refactors, debugging really complex stuff.
It really moves from code generation to code comprehension on a massive scale, which leads perfectly into its performance and this agentic power we talked about. It's meant to deliver solutions, not just code lines. How does it actually stack up in these agentic workflows?
Well, the benchmarks are pretty telling on things like SW Bench Verified, which is tough. It involves fixing real bugs in real open source projects.
Not just abstract problems.
Exactly. Real-world messiness. On that, Qwen Coder is achieving state-of-the-art results among the open models, and it's even outperforming or matching some of the big proprietary closed models.
Really? That's impressive for open source.
It is. So fixing a bug isn't just suggesting a line change. It might involve analyzing the big report, finding the right files, writing a patch, maybe even drafting a test case to prove the fix works autonomously.
Okay, that's proper agent behavior.
Right.
And it's not just coding. The sources mention other agentic tasks.
Yeah, things like agentic browser use, maybe looking up documentation or Stack Overflow and agentic tool use, interacting with other developer tools. Apparently, it performs comparably to top models like Claude Sonnet 4 in these areas too.
So it's pretty versatile.
Very. It shows high proficiency across, well, competitive programming, automated testing, complex refactoring, debugging. What's really key is it engages with the whole development process.
Right.
It's not just writing a function in isolation. It's like that junior dev again. Reads the ticket, sets up a test, checks the docs, writes the fix, runs the tests, maybe even suggests a commit message. True multi-step autonomy.
And language support, if
Yeah.
you're not just using Python or JavaScript.
The number is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Natively supports 358 programming and markup languages.
358.
Yeah. All the big ones, Python, Java, C++, MA, Go, Rust, JavaScript, HTML, SQL+, tons more. So chances are, whatever you're working in, it understands it, makes it incredibly broadly applicable.
That breadth, combined with the agentic stuff, really points towards it being a foundational piece of tech.
Exactly. That's how they seem to position it as a foundation model for code, like the universal backbone for understanding, generating, and automating code tasks across the board.
So not just a tool, but a platform others can build on.
Precisely. The idea is other specialized tools, maybe advanced testing suites or new kinds of IDEs, could use Qwen Coder as their core AI engine. And importantly, it inherits strong math and reasoning skills from its base model, Qwen 3.
Which is critical for good code generation, not just pattern matching.
Absolutely vital for robust logic and problem solving.
So practically, for developers listening, what does this mean? How does it fit into their workflow?
Well, the sources suggest it's designed for easy adaptation. It should integrate into existing workflows, CI/CD pipelines, even potentially assist in code reviews. The aim seems to be enhancing, not disrupting, how developers already work.
Okay, integrating smoothly is key.
And speaking of integration and accessibility, there's another big piece. They've also open-sourced Qwen Code. It's a command-line agentic coding tool.
A CLI tool.
Yeah, and interestingly, it was forked from Gemini Code, specifically the Gemini Clay open source project. So it's built on an existing open foundation, ensuring compliance and accessibility for everyone.
And they've improved on the fork, right? Not just released it as is.
Definitely. The Qwen Code CLI has been enhanced with custom prompts and advanced function call protocols designed specifically for Qwen 3 Coder.
Ah, so it's tailored to unlock the model's full potential.
Exactly. This is what enables those really advanced agentic uses we talked about in a practical way. Things like tool integration, asking it to refine code over multiple turns, injecting context dynamically.
So you could tell it, hey, look up the API spec in our internal wiki, find similar examples in the repo, write this feature, test it, and update the integration tests.
That's the kind of multi-step, context-aware interaction it's aiming for, making the CLI a really powerful interface.
And how does this CLI fit into the broader ecosystem?
Well, the design emphasizes seamless integration. Connects with community tools, editors, CI systems. It supports dynamic interaction with code, working on repository-scale tasks, direct function calling. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
About what?
Just how much more efficient could a developer be with this kind of tool woven into their daily routine? Imagine offloading all the repetitive, multi-step grunt work and focusing your brain power on the really hard problems, the architecture, the creative solutions.
Yeah, freeing up that cognitive load. So if someone's listening and thinking, okay, I want to try this, how do they actually get started?
Good news is it's available under an open license, so pretty accessible. You can run it using standard Hugging Face Transformers pipelines, which is common for these models.
Okay.
Or you can use that dedicated Qwen Code CLI tool we just talked about. It's built to be compatible with modern developer setups, so getting it running shouldn't be too painful for most folks.
And that open aspect feels really significant here.
It really is. Hone open sourcing both the model and the agentic CLI. That's a big statement. It's not just dropping a product. It feels like an invitation for the whole global developer community to collaborate and push this forward.
Yeah, accelerating innovation together.
Exactly. It makes these powerful agentic capabilities widely available, encouraging people to experiment, build on it, find new applications. It really could signal a new era for AI in coding, built on openness and shared progress.
So bringing it all together then, this Qwen 3 coder model, 480 billion parameters, but only 35 billion active. That mixture of experts thing, the huge context window up to 1 million tokens, the state-of-the-art agentic performance, plus the open source CLI. It does feel like a genuine milestone for open source code AI.
It really sets a new bar for what open autonomous developer assistance can look like.
Yeah.
And if you connect it to the bigger picture, like we've been saying, this isn't just about coding faster. It's potentially changing how we fundamentally interact with really complex software systems, enabling new levels of automation, letting developers hand off entire workflows, the future of software development where AI is less of an assistant and more of a partner. It feels clearer now, and open models like this are really driving us towards that future.
So the final thought for everyone listening. What stands out most to you from this deep dive? How could a tool like this powerful, agentic, open source change how you work with code? Or maybe it sparks ideas for automation in totally different fields. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of where this could lead.